TV network, the solution for humanity.
Say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great. Allahu Akbar. God is great. Allahu Akbar. God is great.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam wa rasulillah. Dear brothers and sisters, inshallah you've had an amazing day, a great time, and thank you for joining us again. We are discussing great topics of highly importance to you, the viewers, our dear brothers and sisters, Muslims in the 21st century, Muslims who have issues, Muslims who are faced with changes, societal pressures, and so on. And if you are just joining us and you missed our previous shows, we've talked about the ideal Muslim family. We've talked about the ideal husband, ideal wife. We've talked about the ideal children and so on in general. And now today we will talk about the ideal offspring, son, daughter, and so on. And of course, this is such a highly important topic. And I'm sure that a lot of you have wondered, what does it take to be the ideal son, the ideal daughter? What does it take to have ideal children if you are parents and so on? And to join me today, as always, in our shows, to share this topic with me, Sheikh Asim al-Hakim, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Sheikh Salim al-Amri, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and Sheikh Dr. Ahmed ibn Saifuddin, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How are you today?
I'm fine,
Alhamdulillah.
Well.
Let us start with this question. What does offspring mean in the first place? Just to define, is there a technical difference in Islam versus what we generally know or not? Let's start with Dr. Ahmed.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salawatullahi wa salamuhu ala sayyidil anbiya'i wal mursaleen nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa tabi'ina lahum bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. Relationships in Islam are normally based on different levels. We start with relatives, those that are connected with a person by blood relationship. Then we do have a second level, which is the relationship by marriage relationship. And then we have the connection through the belief, the iman, so the brotherly relationship and sisterly relationship between believers, men and women, under the shade of Islam. And then we connect with the rest of the world as humans because we are all the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve. But then, of course, when we go from the larger connection or the bigger one to the small one, the most near to you are the ones who have more rights upon you. Talking about the relatives. And when we talk about the offsprings, we talk about the father and the mother, and then anyone having relationships based on your relationship to the mother and the father, meaning that on your mother's side, on your father's side, you have relatives. You have brothers and sisters coming from the same father and mother, or from the same father, or from the same mother. So it could be on both sides, right, or half, as we call it in English, half brothers, half sisters. Or we have the relatives from the father's side, such as your grandfather, grandfather, you have your uncles, and then you have your own grandchildren coming from your father's side. Then we have on the mother's side, we have the grandmother, you have the aunts, and then you have, again, the grandchildren coming from your mother's side. Those are normally the relatives. We don't talk about arham or ashar. Well, normally the difference in the fiqh discussion address the issue of those that are related to you by blood, not necessarily by marriage relationship. Although there is some connection in this respect regarding the relationship. But when we talk about the offspring, no, I think today we are concentrating on the children, on the sons and daughters of a mother and a father.
Jazakallah khair. Sheikh Salim, when we're talking about offspring, what's the importance? I believe the word sometimes used in fiqh is lineage, right? Am I correct in saying that?
It's
Lineage?
nasab.
Nasab, right.
Nasab, genealogy, yeah.
Right. Why is that important in Islam? Yani, if we want to just to add more to, why is lineage important in Islam?
Okay. Bismillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala man ittaba huda ila yawm ad-din amma ba'd. Before answering this question, the offspring, which is the dhurriya, okay, known in Arabic as dhurriya,
No.
and as we know that the very purpose of the marriage is not the fulfillment of one's needs. It is the continuation of the human race. That's the purpose of it. The marriage, the concept of the marriage, and the purpose of the marriage is that the race, human race, will not reach extinction.
SubhanAllah.
Because if you refrain from getting married, what will happen? So someone has the children is a continuation of you. That's why in Arabic they say, if someone died and he didn't have children, no one is to carry his name. But if you have offspring, you are not dead, metaphorically, of course.
Right.
Now, the nasab, which is the genealogy or the lineage of the person that you know, let us digress a bit. In the kingdom of animals, the high class, dog family, they keep the breed, history, horses, history.
Right.
This horse came from there is record.
SubhanAllah.
How about the human being? So you know your ancestors, and this will help you to be kind and reach your kindred, your cousins, your uncles, and so maintaining the one's genealogy and lineage and knowing them, and the Arabs and I think other races also. If you ask him what is your name, he will give you a long list.
Certificate.
Right.
Okay, I'm the son of this, of so and so, and so and so, and so and so, and so and so.
Like a family tree.
Family tree, yes.
Right. This is something sad, subhanAllah, in Western countries, Western cultures. The farthest that you'll know is usually your grandparents. It's just something very sad. For me, for example, I only know who my grandparents are. I don't know past that. And most people that I've talked to, actually, I had a discussion with someone just recently. He was saying his wife is Somali. He said his wife can go up to 100 names. He says, I can only do 2, you know.
So knowing that this will actually keep the family together,
No,
the
subhanAllah.
ties stronger.
No.
Because you know this, he is related to me. This is related to me. So you approach them and you.
So this is
In the hadith also, if I recall, learn from your lineage what allows you to connect to your kinship. If you don't know your second or third cousin, and this happens a lot of times that so-and-so is related to us. I never knew that. Yeah, he's related to us through this person, that person. But even the issue of lineage is found in Europe, in some old
Traditions, yeah.
families.
yeah.
They still keep their family tree and they know where they are coming from. However, it is not something praiseworthy in Islam, because if it gets out of proportion, then it becomes a cause of arrogance. So what is it? If you're born white or black, this is Allah's decree upon you.
So offspring is very important, and to know, and obviously this is carried through, you know, daughters, sons, and it's important for identity, but not to boast or for pride or anything like that. Type. Let us start now with, obviously the topic is the ideal offspring, son, daughter. What is our measuring stick? What's our reference? Where do we start from?
If I may just, before you go to answer that question, I think what Sheikh Asim points out is very, very important. Nowadays, particularly in some societies, there's so much emphasis on the lineage in order to somehow look at others with a lower degree and seeing others below you in status. And remember, in the glorious Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِذَا أَفَضْتُم مِّنْ عَرَفَاتٍ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ عِنْدَ الْمَشْعَرِ الْحَرَامِ واذكروه كما هداكم وإن كنتم من قبله لمن الضالين ثم أفيضوا من حيث أفاض الناس واستغفروا الله. Then until the ayah comes, فاذكروا الله كذكركم آباءكم أو أشد ذكرا. So remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after you're done with all your Hajj rites and rituals. You need to remember Allah as you remember your fathers, because in the earlier times, in the ignorance times, the Arabs used to go and talk about their own fathers and what they did, boasting about it, thinking that they have this negative sense of pride in their own fathers, rather than to talk about what they had done to serve humans, rather than to boast about this and to look down upon others, thinking that I am better than them because I came from that particular lineage. Yes, we understand that those who are noble in status are fine. That's okay. That's a great thing to do, because during that time, the Qurayshite, because they are the tribe of the Prophet, peace be upon him, they were noble. Even the lineage of the Prophet, peace be upon him, came from that real great lineage until coming to Adam. And he said, Ana al-Karim ibn al-Karim ibn al-Karim ibn al-Karim. I came from that lineage, and these parents who are the sons of that great parents and so on and so forth.
Through legitimate marriage and not a single...
Exactly. I think that's the point regarding the legitimate marriage, is that because there is no other way that is accepted in Islam except through marriage to have this continuation of the human race.
MashaAllah.
Without that, that's why it can be understood in both the negative and the positive side. We need to emphasize the most important thing, which is the positive side, to understand where you're coming from in order to connect to your kinship, in order to reach out to people who are from the same blood or closer to you in the same blood, in order to reach them and to connect with them and to be kind to them.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Allahu Akbar. God is great.
Today, one of the most common misconceptions in the world about Islam is that Islam was fed by the sword. But the noted historian, Dilesi O'Leary, has a different opinion in his book, Islam at the Crossroads, on page number 8. He says that history makes it clear, however, that the legend of fanatical Muslims sweeping through the world and forcing Islam at the point of the sword upon conquered races is one of the most fantastically absurd myths that the historians have ever repeated.
Peace TV presents over 100 million viewers at one of the largest peace conferences in the world, addressing a sea of spellbound spectators. Over 30 world-renowned orators on Islam with credentials impeccable.
The truth of Islam.
Deen is your way of life. It is our duty, our obligation. By following the Quran and Sunnah, we will give the message to one and all.
With articulation exquisite.
Read the book of Allah.
Islam is the easy way. It's the simple way.
Remind each other.
The Muslim is not a source of harm for other people.
Collaborate with the people for good.
This is the call of Islam.
With the mission of spreading the truth of Islam.
Do what you can to spread the word of Islam.
Wherever we are.
Live like Muslims.
Use your power.
Allah is saying, why do you need anything else? This Quran is self-sufficient.
The only book on the face of the globe, the Quran.
How a human being should lead his life is given in this instruction manual, the glorious Quran.
For peace to prevail on earth in Peacemakers. Next on Peace TV.
Allahu Akbar. God is great.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. We were talking about the ideal offspring, and we introduced the topic by talking about the importance of offspring and the importance of lineage. And our guests were talking about that lineage is something that connects people and is something very important. However, it should not be taken to an extreme where people boast and they're proud. And Islam came to make sure that it contains that and gives people a proper perspective on lineage. And the most important thing is obviously that we are all coming from Adam and we're all human beings. And as Allah tells us in the Quran that the best among us is the one who's best in taqwa, being God-fearing. Let's move now to talking about the ideal offspring. So first of all, what is our measuring stick? What's our yardstick? What do we look at when we want to see and follow or the ideal offspring, be it son or daughter? Sheikh Salim, what do you think?
Alhamdulillah, but before we talk about the offspring, okay, and I expect to have ideal offspring, I have to prepare and pave the way to have that ideal offspring, which means the child in Islam, he has rights before coming into being. Okay, before coming into being, he has rights, and that is to choose the proper place for your seed, the proper mother, the suitable mother for him before coming into being. And then after coming into being, coming into this world, he has rights on you, whether it is the aqiqah, the upbringing,
if I'm not mistaken, also to give him a proper name.
And the proper name and the education, discipline.
Maybe this should have been the ideal father. That would have been appropriate to talk about.
This is the right of that child. So if I give the child all his rights, then inshallah, the fruit, I will pick up the fruit. Okay, the result. So the ideal child, for example, I remember now that the father who came to Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu, complaining about his son, about that he's not dutiful, he's not this, the child said, ask him, Amir Mu'mineen, ask my father, what is my name?
Subhanallah.
He said, what is his name? He said, Ju'ul. Ju'ul is the dung beetle. The beetle that rolls the dung.
Yes.
He said, you were undutiful to him before he became undutiful to you.
And his mother as well was a slave. And
so giving the child his rights so that later on, inshallah.
If I might add, just for clarity, is preparing the path and giving the right circumstances for him to be able to be ideal,
of course,
right? So you give him whatever needs to be given, and then of course, and he takes off from there. Yeah. But if there's no takeoff place or proper paved way, then obviously it's crash.
And also putting in mind that we're talking about what is normal. Bearing in mind that even if you do whatever you do, it's at the beginning and at the end Allah's will. We know that Nuh, peace be upon him, was one of the great-willed messengers of Allah, one of the 5. And yet his son died as a disbeliever. So was it Nuh's mistake? He did everything. No, he did his due diligence.
This is something very important. Do you mind elaborating a bit on it? Because a lot of brothers, sisters, parents, they tend to start blaming each other when the son or the daughter goes astray. Is that correct?
Well, if we go into this, it's like opening the Pandora box.
Right, if you want.
See, I suffer a lot from this because when I talk with my children, we have a lot of discussions saying that our time is not like your time. And there are so many restrictions now you're putting on my sisters that you used to put on us, which are not suitable now. And the mother of the girls and myself, we discuss about this so often because the children have this ability of persuasion, of putting you under pressure. It's like this cat, when you look at it, and it gives you that look that breaks your heart. Girls and the boys usually know how to tackle their parents in a way. And at the end of the day, Akhi, the answer is not emotional. The answer is very logical and realistic. What does Allah want of us? So you say that I used to tell you it is not halal to listen to music and to watch movies and soap operas. The ruling is the same because this is religion.
Yes.
Now, it is different whether to, okay, would I give you a mobile phone when you are 18 years of age, when you graduate from high school 10 years ago? Okay, yes, this was the norm. Now it's maybe like 14 years of age. So this is not halal haram, but the type of mobile phone makes a difference. So would I give my 14-year-old child a Nokia that is like basic on and off, or a smartphone where they can browse the net, app stores, and all the whole 9 yards? These things do not differ. So at the end of the day, you do what Allah tells you to do with diplomacy, with kindness, with love, but never cross the red lines because the generation is different. Halal is halal, haram is haram.
No, subhanAllah. This is something very important. Yeah,
well, I think it's very important to have a balance in this regard. And as you expect from your child to be a reasonable person, a person of commitment to the deen, you have to show them the example. Many parents would love to see their children so ideally obedient and kind and committed, yet they're not up to that level. Now, there is going to be a problem here because, you know, they said, well, I'm following you. I'm taking you as an example. And normally, at an early age, a father is the ideal human being for a child, and the mother is the ideal human being for a daughter. That's why you need always to watch for this. And if you, for some reason, are not fortunate to have enough knowledge, or you're not so committed, you try to connect that child to an environment where this child can learn the right behavior, take the right attitude, meaning choosing the environment, the correct environment. Of course, I can watch within my house what goes on there. I can prevent bad things from taking place here. But is that enough? Well, the child would have to go to school. The child would have to go and play with peers and other children.
Relatives.
He has to go to the street. He would visit relatives and would travel at times. Well, we have to choose, because nowadays we can see that there are children who go to the extreme and they can adopt certain ideas where they go with groups who are even not really understanding Islam truly and properly, and therefore they fall into extremist ideas and extremist actions, and they may adopt the idea of revolutionary ideas, wanting to go and change the world by power. That's one extreme. If we go to the other extreme, they want just to live like everyone else around, to adopt what the children in the whole world are doing. They just need to be, you know, to go with the bandwagon.
Right.
Well, we need to make the limits, make sure that this child does what Islam is, as Sheikh Asim says. We need to draw the line and say that this is what Allah needs from us. This is our example in the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the children of the Sahaba, Ridwanullahi alayhim. This is how we expect an ideal child to be. Right. But then, how does that work? I think that's basically what we need to have more say in, because we expect them to do certain things in order to be that ideal.
So then let's tackle the same question I've been trying to.
With your permission, I would just like to add something. The role model, that the parents should be role model for the children. So when the Prophet ﷺ, he saw that one of the Sahabiyat calling her child, come, I'll give you something.
Right.
Okay, the Prophet ﷺ, he was watching. And when the child came back, he gave him date. He said, had you not given him, it would have been written down that you lie.
You lied.
Okay? So indirectly, we are teaching sometimes, okay, some parents, the child to lie. Child says, I need a candy, Dad. He said, by Allah, I don't have money. And he's seeing your wallet is full. Okay, somebody, and you are telling him, my son, don't tell a lie. And then someone is calling, and the child picks the phone. Is your daddy there? Hold on.
Say no, yeah.
Say he's not here.
Say he's not here.
The child goes back. Daddy is saying he's not here. Daddy is saying, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Look at that.
So this is, how do you expect this child later on? Okay? Contradiction says, what's this? Maybe it is okay for the adults to lie, not the kids.
Right.
You are confusing him.
It's kind of like when a parent smokes, and he's very strict on his son or daughter that they, should never smoke. It was an interesting, I believe it was one of the Muslim countries, there was a project where one child goes and asks for a light, for a cigarette.
Yeah.
And he goes to different, elders, and everyone tells him, what do you want to smoke for, This is not correct. Why are you doing that, It's like, so why do you smoke, It's like, we want to do certain things, but we don't want them to do that. And as you said, that's a contradiction. And children are not dumb. They're very smart. Exactly. They see that and they say, wait a second. This is my father. He's my role model. If he smokes, I want to smoke. If he lies, I will lie. If he cheats, then I will cheat.
Yep.
So I believe the take-home message, as we're running out of time, is that if we want to have ideal children, we need to be ourselves ideal.
Ideal fathers and mothers.
SubhanAllah. We ran out of time, inshallah. We just scratched the surface on this topic. Inshallah, we'll continue on another episode. Jazakumullah khair for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Season comes and